Chapter 2, Comfort from a Stranger. A few hours have passed since Valerie collapsed in your home. Police officer has finished taking your witness testimony. Thank you for your time, Miss Constance. I'm sorry this was your introduction to Vermillion Lane. No, it's okay. Thank you for... He gulps. Valerie's body is rolled out on a gurney in a body bag. The police officer reports back to his supervisor within earshot. Don't want to say the whole thing. All signs point to what we suspect. Miss Wright suffered a heart attack. A heart attack? But why? She seemed fine moments before. Yeah, that's happening a lot lately. You then look past the officers, glimpsing dozens of Vermillion Lane residents crowding your front lawn. Oh my god, someone died! Who's in the body bag? Is it the new neighbor? News sure does travel fast in this neighborhood. You jump as an arm goes around your shoulders, but relax when you realize it's Charles, his almost hug silent comfort. I didn't mean to scare you. The officer took my statement, but I wanted to stick around and make sure you were okay. I'll admit I'm shaken. So you feel so surreal. I just witnessed someone die in my own home. Your voice cracks and Charles ever so slightly tightens his grip. You barely get to enjoy the closeness with Charles because the chatter coming from your front lawn begins to intensify. Yoo-hoo! Faith! Faith, are you there? Oh, they're obviously not going anywhere. I have to tell them what happened. Also, how did they know your name? You slip out of Charles's warm embrace and step out on your front porch to face your new neighbors. Look! That must be her! She's alive! As one, they surge forward in a giant mass, their words unintelligible. Flustered and unsure where to even begin, you take a breath. I never imagined this would be how I was introduced myself into the neighborhood. My name is Faith Constance. I know you all want answers about Valerie. Valerie Wright? Are you saying Miss Miss H.O.A. is the one who died? That doesn't make any sense. Why did Valerie Wright drop dead in your house? It was a heart attack. That's what the police said. Heart attack? But how? She was healthy. She jogged the neighborhood every morning. I'm sorry, but I can't take any more of this. The crowd pivots as one to face Sadie, who absolutely soaks in the limelight as the neighborhood's attention shifts to her. My fellow Vermillion Lane residents, I mourn alongside you for this terrible, terrible loss. But if you want to know what happened, Faith isn't the one to turn to. She knew Valerie for all of 6 minutes. This is kind of true. She feigns getting choked up and wipes away imaginary tears. I, on the other hand, really knew Valerie. We arrived at Faith's home together, an HOA welcome tradition we've practiced for years. When she clutched her chest and Faith's outdated foyer, the whole thing was just devastating. Let's be honest, you all should have seen Valerie's death coming. The crowd erupts in a collective audible gasp, then break into smaller groups to gossip furiously. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? There's no way it was a heart attack. I'm way ahead of you. It could have been, well, you know, could it? This neighborhood seems to know each other know everything about each other. I bet they could shed some more light on what everyone really thought of Mallory around her. What secrets do these people know about one another? Unable to resist, you make your way to the very edge of the crowd, forming around Sadie, who continues her Oscar-worthy performance. Bless her heart, she was just under so much stress about the upcoming HOA re-election. Sadie lowers her voice to a loud whisper, prompting everyone to lean in closer. You didn't hear this from me, but she was worried she was going to lose her seat. At her age, who can blame her? At her age, she couldn't have been more than a day over 45, 50 tops. Two other neighbors snicker behind you and you tilt your head in their direction. Valerie would die a second time if she knew Sadie was talking about her age. Well, I'm almost glad we don't have to be around their fake friendship anymore. You groan, frustrated. You can't split your attention between Sadie and these snickering neighbors. Let's also ignore the fact that 3 of them all look the same, including the twins and the person who just died. Sneak closer to Sadie, listen in on the neighbors. Saddie's just gonna play it up. You inch closer to the loose-lipped twins, careful not to garner any attention. She may expect everyone on Vermillion Lane to buy her act, but she is not that talented. Everyone knows that with Valerie out of the way, Sadie has a real shot at becoming the next HOA president. No wonder Sadie's been acting so smug. She was planning to dethrone Valerie. Make your way to another section of the crowd, perking your ears when you find a married couple in deep conversation. Isn't Valerie's death just terrible? Tragic, really. I could never imagine speaking ill of the deceased. That's what those upstreet women do. Gossip, gossip, gossip. You take a swig of her late-night margarita and you laugh to yourself. A little late-night truth serum. Something tells me it won't take much to get this one to keep spilling. The woman's husband throws up his hands, his voice rising with frustration. Now that she's gone, can we finally tell everyone that Valerie never paid her contractor? The woman was cheap as hell. His wife slaps him on the shoulder as if to hush him up, but the damage is done and you're sure this guy has more to divulge. Salty husband or boozy wife? Why not? Clear your throat and approach the man, matching his annoyed tone. Why is it always the rich who skip out on their bills? Tell me about it. My company remodeled her kitchen 2 years ago. We still haven't seen a red cent. I wonder who else the beloved HOA president hasn't paid. As you process the latest piece of intel, you notice a couple of flustered people in domestic uniforms forcibly pushing their way through the crowd. Is the news true? Is Miss Wright dead? As a doornail? Wow. He's been gone like a couple hours and you all are doing that already. You prepare yourself for more shock, but instead the expressions on their faces switch from confusion to pure elation. I told you her comeuppance was on the horizon. I say we break out the champagne tonight, the good stuff. She never let us get to let our hands on. Okay, I'm officially living in the Twilight Zone. A woman is dead and they're talking about popping bottles? The other neighbors dismiss the group, but you're more invested than ever, and approach with caution. Hello, may I ask why you look so happy? Please don't misunderstand. We're not horrible, heartless people. It's just Miss Wright promised all of us fair employment. It didn't take long for her to turn into a total tyrant. She wouldn't even pay us on time. I'm getting that from, I'm reading The Room. This woman really racked up a long list of enemies. You look around wondering how many other people Valerie pissed off when an all too familiar voice pipes up. Oh look, it's Faith. How nice of you to join us after all. All heads whip your way with eerie precision. Saddie's smile looks like a call to battle. You glance longingly at your front door. This occasion is anything but nice. I was just heading back inside, actually. Oh, nonsense. I can see in your eyes you have something profound to share with everyone. I think this whole display is ridiculous. My life coach says it's important to express your truth. If you need a life coach, maybe you need to get a life coach for your life coach, because no. I think you could use some more sessions. Now, if you'll excuse me. You take pleasure in seeing Saddie's smile drop for a brief moment before she can formulate a retort. Faith, we should get you inside. Charles arrives, putting an arm around you and quickly guiding you past the crowd. You notice the tension in the flex of his bicep. Charles? He glances sidelong at you, a serious look on his face, and an ominous feeling starts swirling in your stomach. If you want your time on Vermillion Lane to go smoothly, it's best not to steal Saddie's thunder. I'm beginning to see how dangerous she is. I wouldn't go that far. Thanks for the save. My curiosity got the best of me, but I definitely prefer being as far away from that woman as possible. Saddie's an acquired taste. That's putting it mildly. Charles lets out a soft laugh, and you realize that he's steering you away from your house. Wait, where are you taking me? I mean, you just did have a woman die in your front door, so... I thought I'd bring you over to my house. I'm being a bit forward, but I don't want to leave you alone on the heels of what just happened. He glances over his shoulder, pulling you a little closer to his side as he eyes the neighbors still on your lawn across the street. Especially with a pack of rabid dogs barking at your doorstep. Your place... I couldn't impose. This may not be the best time. I don't want your daughter feeling awkward in any way. Don't worry, she's out with friends. We'll have the whole place to ourselves. Well, that sounds, intimate. He slips his hand into yours. The rough texture of his calluses is surprisingly alluring as he leads you to his porch. Come on in. I think I know exactly what you need. Stepping foot inside Charles's home, you immediately take note of how everything has a place and a purpose. You weren't kidding about your love of organization. There's a cozy atmosphere that comes from a few homemade knickknacks, like a wooden coat rack and an intricate grandfather clock in the hall. Is this your work? You look longingly in the direction of a fine-looking coffee table. It's a yard sale fine. Believe it or not, you should have seen the condition it was in. I restored it myself. The wood is so sturdy, smooth. Detailing is impeccable. Run a hand along the edges of the wood, admiring the texture of his fine, filigree pedigree beneath your fingertips. That part took me the longest and cramped up my wrist working on it, but it was well worth the time and effort. He drags his fingertips along the piece of wood from the opposite end, meaning yours in the middle. You catch his electric gaze. Your work is so unique. I can't ask you to do my porch for free. You're so skilled, it'd be a crime not to pay you. I don't want your money. The fact that you appreciate my talent is all that matters. Plus, I wouldn't say no to more of your company. His thumb brushes over the back of your hand, his gaze more intense, and you feel your face heat. Come on, I have more to show you. He offers you his hand, and you take it, curious to find out where he's leading you. Nice kitchen. In the kitchen, he pulls out a chair at the table, gallantly pushing it in once you're seated. Okay, my curiosity's piqued. I'm about to show you my secret weapon. Coffee? But I'm sure it's cooking skills. He whispers the words in your ears, chest warm against your back as he leans over you and your breath quickens. He takes the delectable scent of the cologne with him as he straightens up and walks to the fridge. He looks even better in his own kitchen than mine. You watch as he reaches into the fridge, biceps flexing and shirt tightening against his shoulder blades. Your eyes trail to his shapely rear. I hope you're thirsty. You meet your eyes over his shoulder and you gulp. Parched. He straightens up with the pitcher and grabs you glasses and fills them with ice and a liquid. He hands you one. For you. Strawberry lemonade, sweet and refreshing. Are those strawberry-shaped ice cubes? That's a cute touch. Your smile drops as Charles goes oddly still for a moment. His voice is still a bit distant, like he's only halfway aware of where he is. I make this for my daughter, if she's ever going through a bad day. You wait a moment, expecting him to expand, but once again he leaves you feeling like you've run up against an invisible wall. He's like this whenever his personal life comes up. I wonder if I can push a little bit if I'm delicate. Charles... You must be a great father. Your compliment catches him off guard, but in a good way his expression turns warm. I hope so. It's my hardest job ever. But Yvette is my entire world. The daughter has a name. That's progress. You return his warm smile, pleased. He's starting to open up. Albeit a small step. Wow, a name. That's opening up now, I guess. So what's the verdict? You nod towards the glass of lemonade forgotten in your hands, holding his gaze. You rise it to your lips and take a sip. It's the perfect balance of sweet and tangy. Is that so? Yvette says the same thing. He lets out a soft laugh, eyes on your face, and his smile becomes charged. You watch as his gaze lowers to your mouth. Charles? He lifts a hand to your face, his thumb brushing feather light against your upper lip, setting your entire body aflame. You had a little lemonade. I didn't mean to cross any lines. But his hand lingers on your cheek, not pulling away. Your eyes don't leave his, and you inch closer to his lips, heart beating faster. I know I didn't move here with a relationship in mind, but it's like everything draws me to him, and like he wants me to let in. Get to know Charles more personally. For the record, you don't have to worry about crossing any lines. Oh, is that so? He grins and brushes your cheek with his thumb. You lean closer to him, watching his eyes drop heavily to your parted lips. It's weird. I know we're basically strangers, but I feel so comfortable around you. Does it make any sense? Charles laughs to himself, the sound thick and sultry. What's so funny? Have you ever thought that maybe you shouldn't be quite so trusting of strangers? Interesting point. Should I not trust you? Do you have some underlying motive to get close to me? He hums thoughtfully, his calloused hand tantalizingly warm against your cheek. I don't know about underlying motives, but my thoughts about you definitely aren't all pure. Damn, bro. Be being straight about that one. A tingle rushes through your body as his fingers stroke down your cheek before resting on your neck. I'm glad we're on the same page, then. Indeed. You feel a moment of disappointment when his hand leaves your face, only to flush as he gently places it over your hand on the table. Why don't we take this conversation outside? I think both of us could use some air. Yeah, air would be good. You grab your lemonade and follow him out into his backyard, settling down into one of the Ardeniac chairs, hands brushing all the while. You look over at him, moonlight playing across his features, and smile, the fresh air doing nothing to dispel the way his nearness makes your head spin. You know, we don't have to be strangers any longer. That sounds so like an invitation to ask more about him. But he always closes off when I ask about anything about his personal life. I don't want to push him away. Unless you'd rather we didn't get to know each other, any better. His thumb strokes yours, breaking you out of thoughts and silence. His grin is still inviting. You feel encouraged. He's so relaxed when he talks about Yvette. Maybe he'll open up if I ask more about her. I'm curious. What's the best part about being a single dad? Oh, well, your fingers tense under his reaction. But after a second, he smiles from ear to ear, expression growing more. Having a daughter who loves me makes me the luckiest man in the world. I'd say she's also pretty lucky to have you. His eyes find yours again, a moment of surprise as he realizes what he's just opened up about. He looks down at his hand over yours, and you watch his shoulders drop, tension dissipating. Parenting can be complicated. Every scenario, every situation has its own challenges, and doing it alone, it feels 10 times harder sometimes. You turn your palm face up beneath his to give his hand a sympathetic squeeze, taking note of how quickly he squeezes back. But even when things are difficult, Yvette finds a way to make it all worth it. She sounds like a great kid. She has the best heart. Most teens can be self-absorbed, but she makes time for me. We make it a priority to have dinner together at least twice a week and every Sunday. Quality time. I love it. He chuckles, eyes sparkling fondly, and your heart skips a beat at his nurturing parental side of his that you're newly glimpsing. She doesn't complain about her doing her chores. She even made me breakfast in bed the other morning. Though I think she may have been buttering me up so I'd let her go to a concert. She knows pancakes are the way to my heart. Pancakes, huh? I'll have to remember that. He brushes his thumb against your palm, so your sensitive skin is hyper-aware of the texture of his rough fingertip. The secret is buttermilk batter. Raspberry syrup on the top instead of maple. Oh, how dare you, sir. I agree with the batter, but instead of maple? I'm actually okay with any syrup, but moving on. Your palm tingles as his thumb continues to draw slow circles, and a tingle starts up between your legs as well. But suddenly he takes his hand back and sighs, a worried expression coming to his face. What's wrong? Yvette's a great girl. She really is. She's my support system as much as I try to be hers. I just worry she's had to grow up too fast. She hides things from me, bottles things up so I don't get too worried. Sounds like a typical teenager. Maybe you can get her to open up. It's one thing to be there for someone when they ask to be or for help, but to check in on someone who's suffering in silence can make all the difference. This is actually true. I never thought of it that way. Yvette may appreciate the initiative, especially when it sounds like she does so much to take care of you. A tender smile returns to his face, and somehow it flusters you just as much as his sultry ones. What's the look for? It's nice having someone to talk to about this. Thank you for listening and for sharing your thoughts. I get the sense you don't open up very often. Certainly not to anyone on Vermillion Lane. I don't have anyone I trust here. His eyes strayed at the small section of the street visible from the yard, only to return to yours with intensity. I take it being Yvette's father very seriously. All I want is to be the best I can for her. You really are one of the good ones. You hadn't meant to say it out loud, but seeing his drive, his determination, your attraction to him builds exponentially. Oh, what do you mean by that? You feel a nervous but excited flutter as his eyebrows lift. Oh, you swallow as he leans closer, hand on the chair beside your waist, close enough that he's nearly pinning you in place. Yes. Flustered, you take a hasty sip of lemonade only to dribble some down your chin. Clumsy me. You're about to wipe it off, but he lifts his hand and thumbs away the liquid. The two of you lock eyes, electricity crackling. With a warm smile on your face, you press his palm to your cheek, feeling an intense moment of connection. He matches your expression and gazes deeper in your eyes, his expression so amorous you nearly forget to breathe. Do you have any idea what you're doing to me? Is it anything like what you're doing to me? He places his other hand on your chair's armrest. His arms now on either side of you, your pulse quickens. You make me torn, Faith. Being a good dad is my biggest priority, but when someone like you comes along... Go on. Being good is the last thing on my mind right now. You swallow a breath as naughty thoughts begin to flood your imagination of Charles ravishing you out here for anyone on the street to see. I don't know about you, but I've always thought about being good is severely overrated. He uses his finger to loosen the collar of his shirt, giving you a fuller glimpse of his mouth-watering pecs. Did it suddenly get warmer out here, or is it just me? You grab your glass of lemonade and lift it to his lips. Maybe this will help you cool off. He smirks and takes a sip, all while his eyes are fixated on yours. You glance at his full lips, the way they caress the glass rim. As you move the glass away, you notice he has a small piece of strawberry at the corner of his mouth. Looks like it's my turn. I'm taking this slowly. I feel like that would be too thirsty. As your thumb brushes the corner of his mouth, he catches your wrist and nips the tip of your fingers. Delicious. A wave of electricity tingles through you as your breath catches. It's as if some outside force is bringing the two of you together. Charles, I want this. Your breath grows heavy as the two of you lean in, ready to push back to the boundaries of mere flirtation. Let me guess, his daughter? Suddenly you hear the front door bang open from inside the house, and you and Charles leap apart. Dad! I'm home. He springs to his feet and rushes inside, keeping a noticeable distance between you. The sizzling tension of the moments earlier evaporating. Oh, he obviously isn't ready for his kid to see him with another woman. Yvette trudges into the kitchen with the grocery bag, dropping it on the counter and turning with a grin. Girls' night out got cut short, so I thought it could Oh, you're not alone. Her gaze lands on you before darting back and forth between you and her dad. You try to break the tension before it gets any more fraught. Hi, I'm your new neighbor from across the street, Faith Constance. Yvette doesn't smile back, her eyes narrowing in sullen assessment. When she speaks again, she looks as closed off as Charles. You look younger than the rest of the cougars on Vermillion Lane. Holy shit! I like her. She's very straightforward and unfiltered. It sounds like an invitation to impress her. No, it doesn't. And with Charles watching, you really want to impress the light of his life. I sure am. I don't know how to answer this. This is not how you want to answer. Young and spry, that's me. No, let's go with less catty. I've met some of the more overzealous and busty neighbors. Compared to them, I'm totally harmless. Sounds like you've met the Real Housewives wannabes, Sadie Hotchmitch. Then Yvette's eyes go to your glass of lemonade, and any feeling of camaraderie you've been forming flies out the window. Dad, you made her my special lemonade? Oh no. Her jealousy and hurt are palpable. You hold your breath and your tongue, glancing nervously at Charles. Sweetheart, don't be dramatic. It's my lemonade. I'm the one who makes it. You let out your breath as the awkwardness diffuses. Somehow, Yvette's pouting is just what Charles needed to lower his walls back down. Dad! Yvette! Faith here needed a bit of a pick-me-up, so I made her a glass. There's plenty left if you want one. He pours her one, and she takes a grumpy sip, glancing your way, and then at her dad, you can see her putting two and two together. Are the two of you on, Faith, looks like your lawn is finally clear. I'll walk you home. Yeah, he's definitely not ready to have me around his daughter. Bye. It was nice to meet you, Yvette. Sure. Okay then. Hey, we tried. You and Charles reach your front porch in silence. The glow of the porch light accentuates his attractive features. Thanks for walking me home. You were right about Yvette. She's a great girl. I'm sorry if she wasn't the most friendly. She can be protective. Was she always that way, or did she become more protective once her other parent... Have a nice night, Faith. His tone is gentle, but your stomach sinks as he turns and starts walking back to his home, a flash of pain in his eyes. Good night. You're curled up on the sofa later, trying to make a sense of everything that's happened in the past few hours, but when the doorbell rings... Charles... I doubt it, but sure. You rush to fling open the door only to find your new frenemy, Sadie, wearing a big smile. Greetings, neighbor. I wanted to formally invite you to the annual Vermillion Lane 4th of July potluck. You want me to be there? Of course! It wouldn't be a party without our newest resident. We plan to extend the invite during our welcome duties. Sadly, Valerie's incident took precedence. Incident, huh? You seem to be enjoying the limelight. You sure were taking advantage of your friend's tragic death. You were practically holding a press conference on my lawn. Oh, we're a close-knit group. Everyone sees me as a leader of sorts. I just had to fill them in on what just happened. Oh, I thought the leader was Valerie. Her nostrils flare, though she keeps smiling and has a knife-like edge to it. She's like the clown from It. Sweetie, I don't very much like your attitude, or your eyesore of a house. Well, no one invited you over. A word of caution, you're not going to last long in the neighborhood. And don't think cozying up to Charles will change anything. She flounces down the steps, pausing to look back at you with a flip of her hair that could cause a tidal wave. Everyone knows he murdered his wife. Suspense. Drama. Bullshit. Anyway. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description, plenty of things to check out there. Without further ado, let me know what you think of the book. Let me know what you think of my reading and the whole 9 yards. That's it for this week in terms of this book. They only released 2 chapters. You know, I miss the days of when Pixelberry would just spring a whole entire book on us. I also miss the days of really good writing. But anyway, at least this book is somewhat fun. And, you know, with the most recent books that we've been having with choices after a 7-year anniversary, you would think that they would want to put their best foot forward, especially because they're not doing so well with the new parent company that bought them. Yeah, no, if anything, they're kind of losing money. So with that being said, I value the old Pixelberry. I value the old camaraderie I had with some of the writers and some of the devs I had in the app and whatnot. Unfortunately, some of those people have unfortunately left. And what's left is the shell of nostalgia and us loving this app and the stories and things like that. Again, hopefully Nexon, with them announcing Blades of Light and Shadow, and a few other books that aren't all entirely the same literal copy and paste of one another, will push them into new heights after 7 years, and also Nexon purchasing them, hopefully, right, hopefully. Because long story short is, you know, we've had literally, think about it, the last few books where someone's in a relationship, and then we somehow, some way take them away from their significant other. It's been a thing now for like the past year, and it's getting real old real fast for me. I don't know about the rest of you, but I can see the numbers of views and, you know, reports and quarterly reports and everything else, and they're not doing so hot, and I think a lot of us should be speaking even louder with our wallets. Again, that's one of the reasons why I try and bring this content to you, so you don't have to spend money, especially on VIP and Diamonds. So yeah, until, you know, Pixelberry kind of like gets her act together. However, I do have a question for you guys. I know there's a lot of other apps out there that are like these. I recently covered Expanse, which is a Telltale Games, which is based on, you know, doing choices of, you know, who, what, when, where, why, what you want, the whole 9 yards, which is a lot better in my opinion. Do you guys have any preference for some apps or things like that that you think are really maybe diamonds in the roughs or whatnot? Drop some comments down below. Let me know if you guys got any eyes on some apps or games or things like that that you think that might be noteworthy for this channel. Maybe I should look into, maybe try and see if we could maybe get some love for it and maybe see if it's good or not. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.